Labour has been dealt an historic loss in the Caerphilly by-election, losing the seat to Plaid Cymru for the very first time. Cabinet Office Minister Nick Thomas-Symonds joins me now and joins us now. Listen, I'm sure this is a by-election that you never wanted to fight because, of course, it only happened because of the death of your friend and colleague, Kevin Davies. And I'm sure your thoughts are with his family this morning as well in the midst of all this. But we are here to talk politics. So what has gone wrong? Is this the end of Labour's dominance in Wales after more than a century in that particular area?
Well, listen, I will, of course, address the result, but you are right, of course, Kate, and thank you for prefacing your comments there with thoughts to Kevin Davies' family, because obviously I knew him very well and his family have been very much in my thoughts during the campaign in recent days. Nobody wanted to see a by-election in these circumstances, and credit to the Welsh Labour candidate, Richard Tunnicliffe, who ran a very positive, dignified campaign against what I'm sure you'll understand was a very, very difficult backdrop in the Welsh Labour family because of Kevin's.
I'm absolutely sure. I'm absolutely sure, and I understand that emotion is there. However, Kevin Davies wouldn't have wanted wouldn't have wanted this loss either. No. So, you know, why are you in third place behind Reform and Plaid Cymru?
No, of course. And listen, of course, I will address that. Look, I'm not hiding from this at all. This was obviously a disappointing result. My constituency of Torfaen that I'm speaking to you from is very close to Caerphilly. So I've been knocking doors, spoke to a lot of people. And what was coming through to me very strongly in terms of what has happened is a real frustration about the pace of change. People facing, understandably, pressures, cost of living pressures in their daily lives, also the state of public services after 14 years of being underfunded by the Conservatives. And the message really was about that pace of change. And look, we treat the result with humility. We've listened. We've had thousands of conversations on doorsteps. And the message we take is to go away and absolutely redouble our efforts to produce that change that people can feel in their everyday lives. By-elections are historically difficult for incumbent governments, and this one absolutely was no different.
Well, but it was the highest turnout, and, you know, to put it colloquially, you were roundly trounced. You talk about the rate of change, but let's just be clear what we're talking about here. 1 in 5 people in Wales waiting for NHS treatment. Wales has the worst school results in the UK. Your First Minister, I think, in Wales quit after a confidence vote and a no-confidence vote and donation scandal. It seems like Welsh Labour is a byword for drift and for decay. How do you come back from this?
Well, precisely by delivering on the public services that, Rob, you're talking about, of health and education. So let me just take health as an example. We have just settled with the Welsh Government the largest financial settlement in the history of devolution. Now, that is starting to show dividends in terms of bringing down the waiting lists that you're referring to in the Welsh NHS. That is starting to happen. We obviously want that to happen more quickly so people can feel it, people can see it when they are, trying to get their GP or visiting their local hospital. Yeah. So we very much have started on that work. Like, for instance, another example, we have invested in very important issue in the South Wales Valleys in the maintenance of coal tips, hugely important and significant here in South Wales. Seen that under the Labour government. We've started that delivery, but unquestionably, we've got to drive that through the
So, see, I think this is part of the problem. You're saying things that you're proud of and that you would hope that voters would understand. Has trust been lost in the government? Is that the problem? That when you're saying these things, they no longer believe you, so they're turning to Plaid Cymru, which may be more on the left, or Reform, more on the right?
Well, look, I think the British public and indeed the Welsh public have always had a healthy scepticism of politicians, and long may it continue. It's about delivery in deed rather than word that is so important here. And of course, yes, I'm very proud of the investment in the National Health Service here in Wales after the 14 previous years we had. But I don't want to be just proud of investment. What I want to see is it feeding through to the front line, and that is now the delivery challenge that is ahead of us. So that people can
Minister, talk about delivery challenges. Here's the difference. Plaid Cymru have a clear philosophical point of view about the world. They have a message for Wales. Reform, who came a very close second, have a vision, an idea, a conviction of what Britain looks like for them at its best. People vote for Plaid Cymru because they want to see renationalisation in many respects. It's very difficult to understand what your vision for Britain is. And I ask you directly because people in the country want to know, are you proud of being British? And if so, why? Help us understand that. What makes a great Labour government proud to be British?
I'm deeply proud of being Welsh and British, Rob. Deeply proud indeed. And I really do take issue with what you've just said around vision. I mean, I've no idea what Reform's vision for Wales is. I've seen very little interest until now in Wales from Nigel Farage. And indeed, in the course of the election campaign, you talk about pride in being British. Their former leader in Wales actually admitted taking bribes to spread Putin's propaganda. You can't get more un-British than that. And as regards Plaid, they certainly do have a vision of independence for Wales, no doubt about that, but they need to come clean as to how much that would cost households.
Sorry, on that note,
in terms of, you asked me about the government and
sure.
this Labour government. What do we want to see? We want to see the delivery of rising living standards here in the UK. We want to see better public services, like every single Labour government has invested in. And we also want to see, as well, securing our borders, which is something that's coming through to us very strongly from the public. Those are the three things the Prime Minister has spoken about being focused on, and they are in tune with the priorities that were coming through to us in Caerphilly, people wanting to feel better off, people wanting to see better services. I actually think politics is very simple at base, Rob. People want to feel better off. They want a bit more money in their pockets. They want public services.
You're knocking on doors where people will be telling you about their borders. Just very, very quickly. The UK has paid France already £476 million in a deal for them to stop boats. They're not doing it. This competition, this worry about reform winning the hearts and minds of people who say they best represent British values, they're saying we want our money back. Do you think that we should get our money back from France?
No, and it would be an entirely counterproductive thing to do. There's probably about 20,000 crossings that would have happened that have been stopped. And by the way, I've been down to Dover. I've been across to France, working with the French as well in terms of tackling, sort of addressing their maritime laws about stopping boats in shallow waters, working with France on the one in, one out deal, working with France, but not just France, but more widely across Europe to bust the model of the people smuggler gangs is absolutely vital as one of the methods we should be using to tackle this. The other, by the way, is our own domestic law, where we got the Borders Bill going through Parliament, trying to give our law enforcement the same powers to tackle smuggler gangs.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We know you've got to go.
We do know you have to go.
You're having a busy morning, so we'll let you get on with it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you both very much.